Thank you, Senator Boozman.
Thank you. Thank all of y'all for being here. We do appreciate your hard work. Secretary Torres Small, we appreciate you very much. I've enjoyed working with you the last several years, and I know you've been out and about as much as anybody. I think about you being in Arkansas and at one of our smaller communities, and then a person from an even smaller community being there and talking about our water problems, and as a result of your leadership and everyone working together, I think we were able to put together a project that was really the last biggest group of people that didn't have water. I think it was 500 families now have water as a result of that. So that's those are good things, and I know you've worked really hard to do that. I'm a little bit concerned about USAID and their response to what's going on right now, though, in the sense, you mentioned that agriculture is at the 20-year average. 20-year average doesn't mean anything right now. There's no person working in America that wants to be at the 20-year average. Boeing has struck, all of these different areas that we see. They're not asking for a 20-year average or a whatever. They're wanting 20, 30, 40% increases. And so I agree with Senator Hyde-Smith. It's really dire in farm country right now. So the other thing that I think is unfair is that when you talk about agriculture at the 20-year average, if you're growing, if you're producing cattle, things like that, it's very, very good. If you're growing something in the ground right now, it's very, very bad. And so I haven't been around here forever, but I've been around here for a while, and I've never been in a situation where the bankers are coming in saying, if you don't do something, we're not going to be able to, because of our bank examiners, we're not going to be able to provide the credit that our farmers need. That's not the 20-year average. It's not a rosy picture. It's a very dire picture. So I would agree with her from being out in the field, and many of you on the committee, as they were home campaigning, being among rural America, or texting me, what about the farm bill? What are we doing? How's it coming? Because they were hearing from their producers. But this is really a critical situation. And so I'd really like for you to talk a little bit more about that. And again, you're out and about as much as anyone. Can rural America endure this without significant help?
Just yesterday, I was talking with rice farmers from Arkansas and also Mississippi, and they showed me a graph where there really are challenges, because although we continue to work to drive down the cost of food, and we've also seen that reflected in terms of international commodity prices, we haven't necessarily been able to stem inflation, but there's still high prices for things like fertilizer. There's a real challenge to retain and pay farm workers. And there continue to be challenges with interest rates. So I've certainly talked with farmers who are struggling. And I know they're very eager. I think we're pleased to see both versions of the Farm Bill. They're very eager to see movement on that, particularly with the dairy cliff coming in December. And I am also eager to have a conversation about how we support farmers, recognizing that there is a climate of fiscal responsibility, and diving into those details about who really is hurting will benefit both the short term as well as the long term. How do we build back so that we're both supporting existing farmers but investing in future opportunities for future farmers?
Have you talked to lenders?
I have, absolutely.
What are they saying?
Recognize there are concerns about lending in several markets, both in terms of commodities, but also in terms of specialty crops, as well as biofuels and biodiesel. And we, as lenders ourselves, are still seeing strong repayment. So we do know that at the same time, there are opportunities for farmers out there, and we continue to work to make sure our loans are as accessible as possible.
Right. Secretary Buttigieg, thank you for being here. One of the things that we're concerned about is, as we have these disasters and this and that, and we have destruction, and then rebuild back, are we doing it in such a way to make it such that we're going to be more resilient to future situations that occur? Do you feel comfortable in that regard, or are there more resources or more research that we need to be doing in regard to that?
The good news is we're taking steps that weren't possible before the bipartisan infrastructure law, the PROTECT program in particular, largely through formula going to states as well as discretionary awards. This is the first ever dedicated federal program, and it's north of $7 billion to help with resilience projects. But I believe the need for resilient construction and reconstruction is only going to grow. And as Congress contemplates the next, whatever the successor to IIJA is, I think it'll be important to take on board the data points, both in terms of the early successes we've seen with PROTECT and the mounting need and the likelihood that it will only be more acute in the years to come.
Good. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator